Hello, all my little weirdos, and welcome back to Freaky Fridays, where each week I bring you along on a tale of a legendary ghostie. This week we are going to talk about one of the most tragic accidents in history. What was supposed to be the most luxurious and happiest trips of its time turned into a death parade. This week, with this month being the 114th anniversary, we are remembering the lost souls of the Titanic. The Titanic set sail on April 10th, 1912, from Southampton, England, on its way to New York City. It was advertised as an unsinkable ship and had all the fancy bells and whistles for its elite passengers. But those bells and whistles only included 20 lifeboats, which was only enough for about half of its passengers should anything happen. Biggest mistake in history, and if JP Morgan was still alive, I would punch him in the face. And as we all know, the big ship hit an iceberg, but it took just over 2.5 hours to go down. So although it struck the iceberg on April 14th, it was 11:40 p.m., so it actually sank on April 15th. One would think that those who died would be haunting the floor of the ocean where the Titanic still lies, but we wouldn't know about that, would we? No, these ghosties take residence in other places, and that's just what we are about to dive into. The Titanic had a boss, and that boss was Captain Edward Smith, who took on the task of overseeing the maiden voyage. And in true captain fashion, Mr. Edward Smith went down with his ship. There are different accounts of his final moments. Some say he went into the wheelhouse of the Titanic to meet his doom, while others say they saw him swimming toward a lifeboat, which would indicate that hypothermia got him, because Captain Edward Smith's body was never recovered. But his ghosty self has been a traveling spirit. One of my fave ghost stories of Captain Smith is what his wife reported seeing. The captain's wife, Sarah Smith, reported seeing her husband walking across their room at the time of the actual accident. There's also a hotel in Liverpool, the Adelphi Hotel, that has a room known to be a replica of the Titanic's smoking lounge. The room is called the Sefton Suite, and Captain Smith's apparition has been seen many times in this room, sometimes with other naval officers. But this hotshot doesn't stop there. He's also been spotted at his childhood home in England. A spirit in a naval uniform has been seen, while some experience cold spots in the house and hear strange noises. One tenant even reported seeing the captain drifting across their bedroom. Some of the ghosties have followed their belongings and hang around the museums that hold the artifacts of the Titanic. The Titanic Museum in Missouri has over 400 artifacts and is said to be pretty haunted with cold spots and apparitions and whispers. John Jacob Astor is said to be one of those apparitions. He was the wealthiest passenger on board that day, and while he was able to get his wife on a lifeboat, unfortunately, he was unable to save himself. Another museum ghost that has been reported hanging around the orchestra pit exhibit is John Wesley Woodward, who was one of the 8 musicians on the Titanic that night. He has been remembered as being the angel who played his cello on the deck to calm the passengers as the boat sank. His body was also never recovered. So, those are some of the many spirits that did not survive the Titanic on that dreadful night in 1912. There are honestly so many that I could have done a part 2 and 3. This one was a really interesting research project for me. If you have any other ghosties that you would like for me to do an episode on, drop a comment below. And until next time, bye!